Converting a house into a house in multiple occupation, a HMO, is a strategy that can offer significant profits for UK property investors. HMOs provide higher rental yields compared to single-let properties and can be a fantastic way to build cash flow and wealth. However, the conversion process can be complex, requiring a solid understanding of the local regulations, the type of tenants you intend to attract, and how to fund the refurbishment. In this video, we'll explore the essential steps to successfully convert a house into a HMO. We'll also delve into the key factors that you need to consider, such as tenant types, Article 4 directions, and how to fund your HMO project through financing options like bridging loans. Before diving into the conversion process, it's crucial to fully understand what a HMO is and what legal requirements are involved in running one. A HMO is a property rented by at least 3 tenants who are not part of the same household and who share common facilities such as a kitchen or bathroom. In the UK, HMOs are a popular option for property investors because they provide affordable housing and offer higher rental yields. However, there are strict legal requirements when it comes to HMOs. First, you may need to obtain a HMO license from your local council if you're tenanting at least 3 or more people from different households. It's also important to ensure that the property complies with certain space standards. For instance, each room must meet specific size requirements, such as at least 6.51 square metres for a single tenant and a minimum of 10.22 square metres for 2 tenants. Fire safety regulations are another key consideration when converting a property into a HMO. You'll need to install fire alarms, fire doors, emergency lighting, and proper fire escapes to ensure the safety of your tenants. Additionally, HMOs must have adequate bathroom and kitchen facilities for the number of tenants. In general, you'll need at least 1 bathroom for every 5 tenants. Converting a traditional single-family home into a HMO requires careful planning, especially when it comes to maximising the use of space while ensuring compliance with regulations. One of the first things to consider is the room layout. You need to create sufficient bedrooms, each of which must meet minimum size standards. This could mean knocking down walls to reconfigure the space so the house can accommodate the necessary number of rooms. Some properties may also require ensuite bathrooms, depending on the market you're targeting and the level of luxury you want to provide. Along with private rooms, you'll also need to create communal areas for tenants to use. These common areas typically include a kitchen, a living room, and a dining area. It's important to ensure that these shared spaces are large enough for tenants to use comfortably. Depending on the property, you may need to reallocate or extend certain areas to increase the size of these communal spaces. Another critical element in planning a HMO conversion is ensuring that the property has adequate heating and ventilation. Central heating should be in place to ensure that all rooms are sufficiently heated. Ventilation is also crucial to prevent damp and condensation. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to get into property investing or to grow your existing portfolio quicker, but you don't have huge amounts of cash for deposits? Well, I had the same issue, and I came up with an idea that I have now utilised on many occasions that allows you to borrow up to 100% of the purchase price. I used this strategy to buy large apartment blocks, and there was one property in particular that I managed to add over £1 million worth of value in a single transaction just by using a hands-off paper exercise. I've created a free online training course which you can access through the description below that outlines exactly how I did this. When converting a house into a HMO, one of the most important factors to consider is the type of tenants you intend to attract. The type of tenants you house will largely influence the success of your HMO investment, so it's essential to align the property's offerings with the needs of your target tenants. Young professionals are often the most desirable tenants for HMOs. These tenants typically prefer renting a room in a HMO because it's a more affordable living option compared to renting a full flat or a house. Furthermore, young professionals are more likely to stay longer, reducing turnover and the associated costs. These tenants often value shared amenities and flexible renting agreements, making HMOs an attractive choice for them. If your HMO is situated near a university or educational institution, you might also consider catering to students. Students are often in search of affordable and flexible housing options, particularly if your property is located close to a campus or public transport routes. However, the turnover of tenants may be higher as students typically rent for 1 or 2 years. Low-income workers or benefit claimants are another potential type of tenant for HMOs, especially in areas where affordable housing is in high demand. However, this group may come with higher risks in terms of rent collection, maintenance, and potential void periods. Ensuring the property meets the needs of this demographic is essential if you choose to target them. One critical aspect to consider when converting a house into a HMO is whether your property is located in an area subject to Article 4 directions. Article 4 is a planning control implemented by local councils to restrict or prevent the conversion of properties into HMOs in certain areas. This is often used in locations where the local authority wants to control the number of HMOs, such as in student-heavy neighbourhoods or areas already saturated with rental properties. If your property is subject to Article 4, you will need to apply for planning permission before you convert the house into a HMO, even if HMOs are permitted in that area. This could delay your project and increase costs, so it's essential to check in with your local council to see whether Article 4 applies before purchasing a property for conversion. If it does, you may need to submit a detailed planning application, which could take several months to be approved. The next critical challenge in converting a house into a HMO is securing the necessary funding. Refurbishing a property to meet the requirements of a HMO can be expensive, but there are several financing options available to property investors. One of the most commonly used options is bridging finance. Bridging loans are short-term, interest-only loans that are typically used for purchasing and refurbishing properties quickly. The main advantage of bridging loans is that they can often be arranged in just a few weeks, allowing you to move quickly on a deal. Bridging finance is flexible, and many lenders will actually allow you to borrow based on the value of the property after refurbishment. This gives you more funds to cover the cost of your renovation, which can be crucial for HMO conversions that require significant work. While bridging loans come with higher interest rates than traditional buy-to-let mortgages, they are a useful tool when time is of the essence. Once the renovation is complete and the property is ready to be rented out, you can refinance the loan with a standard buy-to-let mortgage or sell the property for a profit. In addition to bridging finance, other options to consider for funding include private loans or joint ventures, depending on your level of capital and risk appetite. Converting a house into a HMO can be a profitable venture for property investors, but it requires careful planning, adherence to local regulations, and securing the right financing. The key to success is understanding the legal requirements of a HMO, choosing the right tenant demographic, and ensuring that the property meets all safety and space standards. Before embarking on a HMO conversion, be sure to check whether the property is subject to Article 4 directions and whether planning permission is required. Also, plan the layout of the house carefully to ensure that it meets the needs of your target tenants. Finally, ensure that you have a solid funding strategy in place, whether it's through bridging finance or other financing options to cover the cost of the refurbishments. With the right approach, converting a house into a HMO can provide excellent cash flow and long-term wealth building opportunities for property investors in the UK. And as I mentioned earlier, I have put together a free property investing training course in the description below that outlines exactly how I added over £1 million worth of value to a single property all through a paper exercise, and how you can do the same. I also show you how to borrow up to 100% of the purchase price, so you don't need a massive amount of cash for deposits. For now, as always though, thanks for watching. I appreciate you for being a subscriber, and I'll see you again on the next one. But until then, go check out the training in the description below.